We have arrived at the Yas Marina circuit on the Yas Island in the United Arab Emirates for the running of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the penultimate race of the season, where the Drivers' Championship could be decided this week. Coming into this week, along with the championship being a talking point, two teams have been making the headlines this week. The first team news of the day concerns AlphaTauri, as after so much speculation, they have announced that German driver David Kupak will remain with the team for another season. David has had an amazing season, with 2020 being a much better season compared to the disaster that was 2019. He currently lies 10th in the Drivers' Championship, 2 points behind McLaren's Joseph Willows, and his team AlphaTauri lies 6th in the Constructors, 12 points ahead of fellow Italian team Ferrari. David's highest point this season obviously came at Malaysia, where after many failed attempts he finally took his first ever podium finish with second place, despite the fact that he started the race from the very back row of the grid due to being caught out in mixed conditions. David will be happy to know that he will still be with AlphaTauri next season, and he'll be hoping the team makes a leap forward in the first season of the fantasy era. He'll partner alongside 2009 world champion Miklos Gal, who was announced back at Italy to be leaving Red Bull at the end of the season to return to AlphaTauri, with many people branding the move as bizarre. This does mean that Chris Chatfield, after only one season, will be leaving the team at the end of the season. However, luckily for him, another team has come to his rescue, and he will be on the grid in 2021. That team being the prancing horse Ferrari, as he has been confirmed to be the driver that will be replacing Roberto Garma next season. Chris has had a brilliant 2020, despite parts of the season being shaky for him. He currently lies 14th in the Drivers' Championship, tied ironically with Roberto Gamba, and as mentioned earlier, his current team AlphaTauri lies 6th in the Constructors, 12 points ahead of his future employers Ferrari. Chris's highest point this season came at Kota, where he came narrowly close to taking his first ever podium, only for him to be overtaken with a few laps to go by the driver who will be replacing him at AlphaTauri, Miklos Gal. Chris will be relieved to know that he will still be in the top class in 2021, and he'll be hoping the team makes a big turnaround in the fantasy area so they are once again fighting for wins and the World Championship. As mentioned, he will replace Roberto Gamba, who shockingly announced his retirement from the OC as a whole back at the Malaysian Grand Prix, meaning in a way Roberto essentially gave Chris a lifeline, given that Roberto was originally meant to be retained by the team. Chris will partner alongside Jake Galloway, who's confirmed back at Hungary to be leaving Renault to join the prancing horse. It will be fascinating to see whether Ferrari will return to their former glory in 2021, or whether they will have to enjoy another season of them fighting in the midfield, or even worse. And that is it for the penultimate episode of the GP4 OC News Series 8. Just 4 more seats are left to be announced now, which consist of the remaining seat at Haas and the 3 talked about ones, which are the remaining seat at Alfa Romeo, the remaining seat at the rebranded Aston Martin, and the remaining seat at Renault. The final team news of the season will break as per usual at the Brazilian Grand Prix next week. Who will get the final 4 seats, which test drivers will be announced early, and what will be the liveries and driver lineup for the renamed Formula 2 season? Tune in to the final practice session of the season next Tuesday at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache in Interlagos, Sao Paulo. Hello everybody, and welcome to the penultimate practice session of the 2020 GP4 Offline Championship. We are here at the Yas Marina circuit on the Yas Island in the United Arab Emirates for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I am JW97, and I'm joined today by someone who I don't actually remember if I've ever commentated alongside, but it's Min from GP2. How are you doing?
Yeah, really fine. Thanks, man.
Have we ever commentated before? I can't actually remember off the top of my head.
Maybe for the first time ever since a long while ago.
Maybe. Okay, so we're here at the practice session, and surprise, surprise, I don't think to the surprise of anyone, it is going to be bone dry for practice. That 1% chance of rain not really affecting anything. So, without further ado, let's get into the practice session. Now, of course, there are no test drivers, of course, because all the book sessions are done. So no test drivers in the car for today. And ignore the loading screen. We are in Abu Dhabi, not Interlagos. It's because the loading screens that we use are from 2019. But it's been so far quite an interesting championship, it's fair to say, this season. And we'll talk about the championship in just a little bit. But obviously, for anybody who has not seen the news, of course, and has only just joined us, 2 drivers confirmed today. David Kupak will remain at AlphaTauri for another season. And Chris Chatfield, as a result, will leave AlphaTauri AlphaTauri and will join Ferrari. He will be the man who will replace Roberto Gamba next season. Are you surprised by those news, Min, or is it not really too much of a surprise?
Well, that I am not surprised about is about the Alfa Romeo seat got confirmed. So yeah, I'm just gonna wait for next week, and yeah, we'll see.
Indeed so. We'll have to wait and see if AlphaTauri and Ferrari can make leap forwards next season. Of course, Q-Pop will be relieved that he'll still be with the team. And of course, Chris Chatfield, in a way, has to sort of thank Roberto Gamba for giving him a lifeline. Because, of course, let's not forget, Roberto was originally meant to still be with Ferrari next season before he made his shocking announcement back at the Malaysian Grand Prix that he was going to retire at the end of the season. So, it's going to be interesting to see how Chris does next season at Ferrari. Of course, he'll partner alongside Jake Galloway, meaning an old British lineup at Ferrari in 2021, and a brand new lineup as well. As David Kupok is, speaking of which, the first driver out on track, of course. Now, we come into this week, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, with the championship on the line, of course, because Franco Lopez has his second chance to try and win the World Championship today, and well, tomorrow I should say, and he has got probably a better chance of winning it compared to what he did at Mexico, although at one point it looked like he was going to win it at Mexico before, another episode of Mercedes implosion happened again, but this time Lopez and Carr didn't come together. It was more of a case of Lopez riding with the back of Roland Motrin after he suffered a puncture, and Amar Carr at the same time suffering from a mechanical failure, so yeah, it was quite a strange race, you'd have to say, man.
Yeah, indeed, man, indeed.
Meanwhile, Q-Pop preparing to start his lap. Now, for anybody wondering, no, this is not the modern day Abu Dhabi. That version of Abu Dhabi has not been uploaded yet onto Grand Prix 4. So at the moment, we are using the old version of Abu Dhabi. But this version has, unlike in real life, provided some good racing. I don't know why that is, but it seems to be that GP4 can produce better races than what the real life Formula 1 season could around this version of Abu Dhabi. As Davey Q-Pop will be preparing to start his lap very, very soon in the AlphaTauri, of course. And so Franco Lopez, of course, comes into this with another chance to win the Drivers' Championship. Now, I have to ask you this question, Min. Do you think Lopez will wrap it up tomorrow, or do you think it will go down to the final race?
Not sure, but quite possibly today. And if I'm wrong, then maybe next week then.
Oh, we'll have to wait and see, of course. I'm leaning towards he'll probably will wrap it up because he comes into this with a 43-point lead at the top of the Drivers' Championship, ahead of both Amar Carr and Miklos Gal, who are actually tied for second place. And ironically enough, right, it was kind of a similar situation to what Lopez was in last season when we came here to Abu Dhabi, because the two title robbers he had going into Abu Dhabi, which were Joseph Willows and Miklos Gal, ironically, they were also tied going into this race. So it's a bit ironic there, to be honest, that it's once again a tied situation for the guy who's in second place. And for Amar Carr, it has been quite a frustrating season, has to be said. You would imagine that given he's got more wins than Lopez this season, and same goes with Gal, you would have thought that perhaps they'd be ahead of Lopez, but Lopez has been so much more consistent than these two, hence why he has got that healthy lead at the top of the championship, and with a golden opportunity to become only the second ever back-to-back champion in OC history. The only other person to become a back-to-back champion in the OC was, of course, Florian Volker back in 2010 and 2011. So it will be interesting to see if Lopez can become only the second ever driver to achieve that, of course, and become the final ever OC champion before we go into the Fantasy era, of course. And it will be interesting to see whether Mercedes will still be competitive next season in the Fantasy era. And speaking of a Mercedes, that was actually Lopez going by on Amelia Wilson, going through into the chicane there. So it should be quite interesting to see. Now, luckily, there will be no safety cars in this race, so no sign of Michael Massey getting involved around here in Abu Dhabi. Wink. As now we go around the final two corners, David Kupot will be setting the benchmarker time here in practice. So let's see what the German driver can do as he's now going to cross the line, and he does a 1:44.0, but that gets immediately beaten by Joseph Willows, who goes 8 tenths quicker in the McLaren. And last time out, Joseph Willows, of course, after nearly a season of him not being on the podium, he finally scored a podium in the McLaren with second position. But he probably felt a little bit frustrated because he felt he could have won that race if it weren't for the guy who's actually in front of him at the moment, David Kupok.
Oh boy. Surely Willows had a chance right there next week, but, you know, it is what it is, and luck, you know.
It is indeed. Unfortunately, the luck wasn't on Jose there to get the win because, of course, he was beaten by the guy who's just gone to the top of the timing sheets, Miklos Gal, who I think a lot of people, it's fair to say, are surprised that he's got 5 wins this season in the Red Bull. Because given the start of the season Red Bull have had, it wasn't a very good start to the season for Red Bull. But it seems that from, I would say, like the French Grand Prix onwards, they just seem to turn it on. And well, now Gal has got 5 wins on the bounce. I bet he was wishing that those wins came earlier so we could have a proper real shout at maybe going at the championship this season. But he has still got a chance. Anything can still happen in this race, of course. But he needs a lot of luck, of course. Same goes for Armand Cars. Both of them find themselves 43 points behind Franco Lopez going into this race. Lopez with a golden opportunity to retain his World Championship here at Abu Dhabi, as Emilia Wilson is getting overtaken again by this time Armand Carr. It's the other Mercedes that is going to be doing some overtaking. But after the first laps are done, the Mercedes only find themselves in 3rd and 11th. I don't know if most of that had to do with the traffic they were coming up to. And there is a bit of a delay, I think, Min, as well, because I am getting a little bit of a gap on my end as well. So, yeah, it's a bit unfortunate there. I don't know what's going on there, but there's a bit of a technical problem at the moment between ourselves and Min. I don't know what's going on. There's a bit of a delay between ourselves, so unfortunately, I don't think there's much we can do about that, I'm afraid. So anyway, we now look at David Cupot now then, who's just going around turns 2 and 3 now then, currently finding himself in 7th position. And so he and, of course, Chatfield got confirmed this week, which means we've got 4 more seats left. 4 more seats to determine who will be on the 2021 grid. And there's 4 more seats left. I will recap what they are. They are the remaining seat at Alfa Romeo. They are the remaining seat at Renault, the remaining seat at Aston Martin, and the remaining seat at... I'm missing a team here. Oh, Haas, that's it, at Haas. So it will be interesting to see. So in the stream chat, guys, you can let us know who you believe will get those final 4 seats in Brazil. And I don't know if you're one for making predictions, Min, but who do you believe will get those final 4 seats in your opinion?
It's too early to tell, you know, like Aston Martin, Alfa Romeo, Haas, and, you know, the other seat from the other team, in which I did not catch yet. Can you repeat that?
No.
Pardon me? Hello?
I know.
Oh, okay. So, I think there will be a chance that it might be, I would say, Ruslan Brodsuk to... Wait, did he sign up for Alfa Romeo?
He did. Yes, he did. He's one of the contenders.
Huh. So, it could be him to take the Alfa Romeo seat away from the other driver, so high chance of that.
It will be interesting to see who gets those final 4 seats indeed. It seems that a lot of people seem to be split with the Alfa Romeo one. And some people going for Proxy. I did see some still believing that Gomez could get retained, and then there are others who could say that perhaps they are going elsewhere as well. So it will be interesting to see who ends up getting that Alfa Romeo seat, because as we've said throughout this season, that competition for that seat is quite stacked, of course. And meanwhile, we are now looking at Joseph Willows, who stopped behind David Cupot. And whilst we were talking there, Cupot nearly sent it into the wall there, coming out of the hotel section. He was very lucky not to get it in the wall there, but it's allowed Willows to catch up. And, well, it could be a spot of deja vu if Willows can't get by him on this lap. Let's see if he's able to get past him this time, unlike he did in Mexico. Let's see, as Willows, he's going to look to the inside, going into the chicane. And will he get the move done? It looks like he will. Indeed, I think he'll get the overspeed going into the chicane. And yes, Willows is through. And Cupot taking a wide line there to ensure that he doesn't get in the way of Willows' car. Meanwhile, he's getting stuck behind one of the Alfa Romeos. But for Willows, of course, at least he's kept his podium streak alive from every season, as Yuri pointed out in last week. But in terms of his winning streak, because he's the only driver so far to have won in every single season of the OC, he's got 2 more chances left. He's got Abu Dhabi and Brazil, and I think it's fair to say he needs some kind of Mexico City look if he was able to achieve that. So we'll have to wait and see if Joseph will get a victory this season, or whether he will have his first ever season of being winless. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But anyway, as meanwhile, speaking of Willows, he'll be finishing off his next flying lap. Currently in 2nd place at the moment. As we're speaking, Lopez has gone up into 3rd position, so 3rd and 5th now for the two Mercedes drivers as we look at Roberto Gamba, who is looking to enjoy his final 2 races in the top class before he retires after next week. We have got some predictions in the stream chat. So Dennis has said he believes that Bartosz Kloss will go to Haas alongside Emilio Wilson. Roman Quark, he believes he'll be the one to go to Renault. There's a good yellow flag, and we'll have to pause there for just a moment. We've got a yellow flag out on the circuit. It looks like down the chicane, it's Franco Gamba. Gamba's had a crash. Watch your swearing.
Sorry.
It's alright. As it looks like Garmer's had a crash, or was it a mechanical failure? I'm not 100% sure because he's parked it just at where the chicane is. So I don't know if he's had a collision or something. We'll have to take a look at a replay, but it looks like a big smash, and it is contact, and it is with Chris Chatfield. So Chatfield was coming into the pits this lap. So let's see what on earth's happened here. And it just looks like Garmer's just been a little bit too risky there, and he's even taken out Chris with him. So yeah, both of them have had a crash going into the chicane there. So both of them are going to have to get into the spare cars.
My God, I did not expect that one coming.
A bit of a clumsy one there from Franco Gamba, it's fair to say, and it kind of had to stop there for the predictions I was talking there because we had a yellow flag. But back to it. So I'll start again from the top with Dennis. So Dennis has said he believes that Bartosz Kloss will go to Haas, Roman Quark will go to Renault, Aaron Curtis will go to Aston Martin, and he believes that Jesus Perinen will go to Alfa Romeo. Okay, that's Dennis's prediction. We now look at Franco Gamba. As now, so his not him on the track. He's put his predictions out. He believes that Aaron Curtis will be at Aston Martin. He's not been specific as to who he believes will be between Roman Quark and Jesus Perinen. He believes it's too close to call for that Renault seat. He believes it will either be Ruslan Proxy or Roman Quark for the Alfa Romeo seat. Again, he's not certain about that one. And he believes that Bartosz Kloss will go to Haas. He believes he'll return to Haas for the first time since 2015. As meantime, speaking of a Red Bull, they're actually being overtaken by Andre Verdiri. That will of course be Miklos Gau, because Franco Gamba has only just gone into the pits, obviously, as a result of him crashing out. So that's that really. Same goes for Chris Chatfield. Meanwhile, look at George Roque, who it's fair to say had a very frustrating time at the Mexico City Grand Prix. And to say that he'll want to forget that race, that's for sure. Only finishing in 10th and also careering into the back of, I believe it was Roberto Gamba in that race. And, well, he's hoping to enjoy his final 2 races at Racing Point before he heads off to Red Bull, or return to Red Bull, of course, because the last time he drove for Red Bull was all the way back in 2006. And so it should be quite interesting to see how he does at Red Bull. Of course, he will reunite, of course, with Franco Gamba, the Gamba Roque reunion, as they call it. And so it'd be interesting to see if those two are able to fight for the title next season. Whether Red Bull will still be competitive in the fantasy era is going to be another question. As David Kupak is going to be coming into the pits, he's got Daniel Fraser right behind, and you could say that Daniel Fraser could be a man under a little bit of pressure this weekend, because, well, this week I should say, because of course he still hasn't been confirmed for a seat yet, and of course Haas still have 1 seat available left. We know that Emilio Wilson is going to be replacing Dudu Kirby, who is of course, like Roberto Gamba, retiring at the end of the season, and whether or not Daniel Fraser will still be at the team next season alongside Emilio Wilson, a bit of a question mark. A lot of people from the stream chat believe he won't get retained and believe that Bartosz Kloss will get the seat for next season, given that he came 5th in the DTM Championship this past Saturday. And might as well mention it as well whilst we're here in the stream, of course. We have recently crowned 3 new champions in the OC as a result. So congratulations to Agatina Bavona, who won the Formula E title this past Saturday. Congratulations as well to Roman Quark, who won the DTM title this past Saturday as well. Whether we'll see Roman back on the top class grid, we'll have to wait and see. And also congratulations to Andrei Sazonov, who won the BTCC title yesterday, the final ever BTCC champion. And congratulations to him. Of course, we will be crowning a new champion today, of course, because later on tonight at 7 PM BST, the GP2 title will be decided, as it is between Aaron Curtis, Rahul Patel, and Ruslan Protsuk, who, of course, has an outside shot at winning the title. He, of course, needs a lot of luck on his side if he wants to win the championship today. But, of course, we found out yesterday that Adam Chobot is now out of the GP2 title fight as a result of not taking pole position yesterday. And we also found out as well, well, we didn't find out because it kind of slipped my mind, actually, but I found out whilst doing the maths yesterday that Carlin also found themselves out of the team's championship because neither Hoang-Min Nguyen or Hento Sinanom got pole position yesterday. So it meant, as a result, Carlin find themselves out of the team's championship. So it's only between Univirtuosi and Trident who can go after the team's title today. So not many contenders for the team title. which is, I can't remember the last time it was only 2 teams that could actually win it going into the final day, because there's usually more than 2 teams that could have a shot at winning it on the final day, but on this occasion it's only 2, Univirtuosi and Trident, of course. Now, who do you believe, because you're obviously in GP2 as well, Min, who do you believe will win the title tonight?
Well, I could say it is going to be Rahul Patel, because even though that Curtis is leading the championship, but you should know that he has not won any race in this season, and as a result, he has a major disadvantage in terms of countback. And yeah, that's my answer.
Going with Rahul Patel. I am also predicting Rahul Patel because, of course, he starts 4th on the grid today, and you've got Aaron Curtis who's got to make a charge through the field from, I think it was 15th on the grid. And, of course, Ruslan needs a lot of luck. Although he is starting in front of Patel, he needs quite a lot of luck if he wants to win the championship today. So, yeah, my money is on Rahul Patel. So, no pressure, Ra, if you're watching. Meanwhile, whilst we were speaking there, Franco Gamba was able to get into the T car and has managed to get up into 5th. Daniel Fraser, meanwhile, has just got himself up into 14th position just to get in front of Felix Sontag. And hello, Laura, who's just joined us in the stream chat. And so hello to Laura Chung there. As meanwhile, Franco Lopez comes into the pits. And here is his fellow Franco Gamba, who obviously got up into 5th position after just climbing into the spare car after his little crash that he just had with Chris Chatfield at the chicane. And he finds himself 65 thousandths down off of Gal in the 2nd sector and only 17 thousandths off in of his personal best in the middle sector. So we'll wait and see if he can still gain a little bit more in that 3rd sector. We'll keep an eye on the timing tower on the left-hand side. As Gabriel Gomez now then tries to find a way through on one of the manners in front. That would be Amelia Wilson, because Rosetta Martinez is in the pit. And so Gomez going on in section corners. Meantime, Jake Galloway, the future Ferrari driver, has just got up into 4th position, getting in front there of Roland Motrin. Jake Galloway, of course, who last time out at the Mexico City Grand Prix was able to get back up into 5th position in that race as a result of only qualifying 18th in qualifying, and he'll be hoping that he has a better qualifying session today. As Franco Gamba does improve, but only up into 4th position, so he was able to find time in that last sector, but not as much as I was expecting, so maybe more time to find for Franco. As meantime, Gabriel Gomez is now going to try and overtake Amelia Wilson going into the chicane now then, and Gabriel will break that a little bit later, and we'll keep hold and we'll overtake Amelia into that chicane. Of course, like with Daniel Fraser, Gabriel Gomez is another man who could be under pressure for the Alfa Romeo seat, of course, because as mentioned, he's got stacked competition surrounding him, and Gabriel Gomez, of course, still in contention for the Alfa Romeo seat, but because of all the competition, he could get booted out, and we might see somebody else partner alongside Andrea Verderi next season, but we will have to wait and see on that, as the answers for that will be shown next week. And of course, next week as well, we'll also be showing off some of the test drivers, of course, because some will get early offers on the Friday night, to be exact, because we normally do the call on the Friday. As meantime, Wilson gets a little bit loose there, a bit scruffy going into the hotel section there, so a little bit of oversteer for the Manor driver, as Manor tried to enjoy their final 2 races in the top class before they head off to World Champ Car. And of course being replaced entirely by Lamborghini, and so it will be interesting to see how Manor can do in these final 2 races. Whether they can hold on to 10th in the Constructors' Championship, that will be interesting. A 4-point cushion between themselves and Haas, so it will be interesting to see whether they can finish second to last and not bottom of the pile like they have done the last 3 seasons, I should say. Meantime, here comes Franco Gamba, who's just making his way through into the final 2 corners. And now into the final corner, the Italian will go, and let's see if he's able to find some time in the last sector like he did last time around. Across the line, no, he can't. Stays in 4th position for the meantime. But yeah, a lot of competition for that Alfa Romeo seat, including the likes of Ruslan Proxiuk, Roman Quarg, Jesus Perinen, as Verderi has a moment there, speaking of Alfa Romeos. But as I was saying, Gabriel Gomez still has a shot of being retained, but you also have got Ruslan Proxiuk, Jesus Perinen, Aaron Curtis, Roman Quarg, even yourself, Johan Mindigo, and you're also a contender for Alfa Romeo, even though you believe that you won't get the seat, as I've seen a few times on Discord. And yeah, so a lot of competition there, and it will be interesting to see who will be at Alfa Romeo next season. As Gamba on another lap, but 5 thousandths down in the 1st sector. So why do you believe you won't get the seat, man?
Yeah, it's just bad luck every time I'm in qualifying every single time in GP2, and well, I'm just simply going downhill, and pretty much that's it. It's just my luck being as rotten as usual. And yep, back to you.
Indeed so. And yes, there is a title on the line here, Ryan, but it could be decided tomorrow because Lopez has got a 43-point cushion at the top of the timing sheets at the top of the standing, so he's got a very good chance of winning it tomorrow. And of course, I will show the criteria tomorrow when we get to the race. Meantime, Willows has improved and only finds himself 14 thousandths behind Miklos Gal at the moment in second position. So Willows having a good session at the moment in Abu Dhabi. Of course, I was going to say that, Yuri. Of course, Joseph is kind of known here for being the king of Abu Dhabi, having won here 4 times in the past. He won here in 2010, 2011, 2012, and most recently in 2018 he won here. So he's got some good memories on this track, and if there's one place that Willows can try and get a lucky win out of in that McLaren, maybe this could be the track. We'll have to wait and see. But clearly, there's something about Abu Dhabi in this practice session that Willows seems to be liking. But whether that will transfer over into qualifying is going to be another question, because we do tend to see some differences when we get into qualifying, as Amar Carr's still stuck behind the Mano, and he's got another car right behind him as well. I believe that might be Evan Byrne, who I do believe is running an updated helmet for this week, I believe, or for the remainder of the season, I should say. And it's going to be 3 wide, in fact, because look in the mirror, although the Renault decides to back out of it, as Amar Carr will try and make the lunge into the chicane, and he will do, and he gets the pass done into the chicane. As meantime, Kirishima De Rosa gets up into 10th position, pushes Q-Park outside the top 10, as Franco Gamba will be coming into the pits this time by, and Gamba making his way down towards the chicane, and we'll be heading into the pits this lap with just over 10 minutes to go in this practice session before we head off to qualifying in just a short few moments. And so it will be quite interesting to see who's going to try and get the penultimate pole position of the season a little bit later on, as Franco Gama now then will make his way down towards the left-right chicane. Meantime, we're looking at David Cupop, meanwhile, who just got pushed out of the top 10 by Kirishima De Rosa and looking to try and get it back, although let's see what his first sector is like as he just comes out of the hairpin now then. And Cupop, let's see what his first sector is going to be like. And he is 9 tenths down and 7 tenths off his personal best, so I'm not expecting him to improve as Lopez passes one of the Hasses there just in front. I'm not sure which Hass it was. I believe it may have been, if I was to guess, maybe Daniel Fraser, but then again the 71 and the 11 on the car looks very similar. And well, for Gabriel Gomez, I believe it was last season this happened, or was it in 2018? I'm trying to remember. No, it was 2018, I believe this happened. Yeah, so 2 seasons ago, of course, Gomez had that very horrible accident here at Abu Dhabi, where he basically got flipped over by Joel Hutter. Anybody remember that name from the OC? He got flipped over by Joel Hutter as they were coming out of the pits there, and a bit of a nasty accident. So Gomez hasn't got the best of memories around here at Abu Dhabi, as Willows, who just overtook Kirby there, but Kirby deciding to make a little mistake there as he went a little bit too wide and got onto the gas a little bit too soon there. So currently down in 19th at the moment is Dudu Kirby, as he now gets himself back underway. But yeah, not the best of memories for Gomez around here at Abu Dhabi. And so that's that really, as Kirby makes his way through into the chicane. And it's going around the section of corners, and obviously his lap has been compromised because of that mistake. David Cupop, meanwhile, crossed the line, no improvement for him. And Norford Laura Chung behind. Laura Chung currently finding herself in 13th position, so only 13th and 14th at the moment for the 2 Ferraris. And I do remember in real life here in Abu Dhabi, the Ferraris tended to struggle around this circuit, so whether that will be the case here in the OC, that's going to be another question. As meantime, Evan Byrne has just come out just in front of David Cupop there. And so Cupop's lap's going to get interfered even more, but it won't matter because, as you can see on the def panel, he's coming into the pits this lap. So I wonder if Laura Chung's going to get impeded or not. But Chung trying to enjoy her final 2 races at Ferrari before she heads off to the new Lamborghini team to partner alongside Rahul Patel. Meantime, Gabriel Gomez goes up into 16th as Amar Carr improves but remains in P5 for the moment. Gabriel Gomez, speaking of which, who we talked about improving just before Carr did, is going into the pits this lap. And for anybody wondering, of course, the tyres we're using for this race is the soft tyres. It's the 3rd race in a row that we have used the red soft tyres. So, yeah, could it be 4 in a row when we get to Brazil? That's going to be another question. But, yeah, 3 in a row that we've used these red soft tyres. Whether the degradation is going to be anything similar to what we saw in either USA or Mexico, or could be completely different, we'll have to wait and see, of course. It could throw an element of strategy, especially when you've got Franco Lopez, who's going after his second World Championship this week. As Q-Pop now then, of course, will be making his way into the pits as he's currently just negotiating around the hotel section. As Evan Byrne, in fact, is starting to pull away a bit. And Chung will be relieved of David Q-Pop because Q-Pop will be peeling off to the right very soon. And so into the pits then goes David Q-Pop as he will now into the pits, and Chung will have a clean lap next time around. So Gomez also coming into the pits this lap. Whether he will still be on the grid next season, that is going to be another question. So with just over 6 minutes to go, this is what the current leaderboard looks like at the moment. It is Miklos Gal at the top with Joseph Willows in second, Franco Lopez third, with Franco Gamba in fourth, Amar Carr in fifth, with Jake Galloway in sixth, then it is Roland Motra in seventh, George Roke in eighth, Evan Byrne ninth, with Kirishima DeRosa in 10th, followed by David Kupok in 11th, then Chris Chatfield 12th, Loa Chung in 13th, Roberto Gamba in 14th, Daniel Fraser 15th, Gabriel Gomez in 16th, with Felix Sontag 17th, Jamie Griffiths 18th, Dudu Kirby 19th, then it is Rosetta Martinez in 20th, Andre Vaderi in 21st, and Emilia Wilson in 22nd position. So far, men, anything that has caught your eye in this practice session so far?
Well, it's going to be Joseph Willows because he's only around 200s behind Miklos Gal, while in a midfield McLaren. That makes me very, very impressed about him. Great job for him in the McLaren.
Indeed so. Whether he will continue that, though, into qualifying is going to be another question. Of course, Willows has had a front row start this season, let's not forget, at the Italian Grand Prix, getting his McLaren onto the front row, and he was a little bit disappointed with that race, to be honest with you, because he felt that had the tyres not gone off, he could have actually maybe have got the win in that race as well. So maybe another race there that Joseph could have won, who knows really. But yeah, it's that's racing, I'm afraid. As George Roke, meanwhile, just goes around the chicane as we now ride on board with Evan Byrne. And he did mention that he was supposed to have another helmet for Mexico in the Discord chat, but I don't know if he's if he sent anything to Yuri or not. But that's that. Okay, fair enough. Because he did remember that he actually forgot to send you a helmet for Mexico, but I don't know if he sent you one since then, so I was just wondering. So, anyways, Evan Byrne now then makes his way through into turn one, as we've got the two Williamses trying to slipstream each other here, of Felix Sontag and Jamie Griffiths. Griffiths, of course, whilst we were speaking, got up into 16th position there, getting himself in front of Gabriel Gomez. And in the commentary as well, he finds himself obviously now 3 points behind Gabriel Gomez in the Drivers' Championship, and George Roke believes if he can beat Gabriel Gomez, that'll be an amazing achievement for him in that Williams, because I think it's fair to say in the first half of the season, I think Felix definitely had the measure of Jamie in the first half. In the second half of the season, I think it's fair to say that Jamie may have turned the wick up a little bit, and of course that podium in Malaysia that Jamie got, obviously the biggest moment of his career so far, and a bit of an unexpected moment there, Min.
Yeah, but yep, absolutely. I did not really expect that one coming right there from Jamie.
Indeed so. So, Franco Gamba saying in the stream chat, Ferrari might have a difficult week this time by. Well, given that the 13th and 14th, that might be the case. Unless they may be potentially hiding something for qualifying. We'll have to wait and see. As David Kupot's got back out on the track and is already practicing some slipstreaming off one of the Hasses. That is Daniel Fraser, because that's the Sebastian Vettel helmet that he's wearing. So, Kupot just getting by there on Fraser as they make their way through into the chicane with just over 3 minutes to go in this practice session before we head off into qualifying. As George Roke now then comes around the chicane. As now he just comes around the section of corners, and Roke currently, where is he at the moment? Currently in 8th, 7th and 8th for the moment for the two racing points. And well, it's been well, obviously for Roland Motra, and I think it's fair to say, in fact I might as well just bring up something in fact whilst I've got him in my head, because I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm just going to quickly double check on the Wikipedia page, that I think he's retired from the last 3 races. He has indeed. Last 3 races Roland has failed to score. Obviously in Japan, of course, that was pretty much his own doing, because he did a dangerous rejoin on George Roke, which landed him a 10-place grid penalty for the US Grand Prix. And then he... oh, my!
Oh,
what was that? That was a Mercedes. That was Lopez.
Oh,
what crap. Lopez has just clipped the back of one of the McLarens there. And, well, that's a big accident for the man who's going for the championship this week. Did he roll over, or was it just him flying? I'm not sure. Was that a pit lane exit situation? We'll have to wait and see, of course. But Lopez has crashed it, and I think it might be because there's no lap time counting down on his graphics, so I do believe this might be a pit exit glitch. Let's have a look and see once the marshal gets to him, of course, and we'll get hold of a replay. It might be a pit exit. Let's have a look, and it is indeed. Lopez was just coming out of the pits there. Did he roll the car? That's the question, as he just comes out of pit lane. And just keep an eye on the right-hand side for a McLaren. And there's a McLaren. Oh, Lopez was a bit clumsy, and yes, he did roll the car there. Not sure which McLaren it was he clipped, because both of them are out there on track, and it was Willow's. It was actually Joseph Willow's he clipped the back off. So, big accident there for Franco Lopez, man.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Lord. You gotta be kidding me. Like, I didn't even know that it's going to be really possible right there for Lopez to get flipped after just only clipped at the wheel. Like, man.
Indeed so, but that's a huge crash for Franco Lopez. Luckily, this is practice, of course, and this is not in the race. But if that happened in the race, then there could be a chance that the championship would go down to the wire. But yeah, a bit clumsy in there from Lopez, because you could see that Willows was there on the inside, just taking his normal line. He should have really just stayed to the outside, in my opinion. But yeah, big accident for Franco Lopez. And, well, very, very lucky indeed that this is only practice. So, yeah, he'll climb into the T car once he gets checked over, of course, from that huge accident. Of course, we haven't got the injury system yet. That will come back next season, but I don't think that would be classed as an injury anyway, if I'm being totally honest. Meantime, let's get back to the action now then. Amelia Wilson gets up into 17th position, an improvement there for the Manor drivers. We have just under 2 minutes to go in this session. In fact, I think Lopez's session will be done, in fact, because of how much time there is left on the clock, and it will be done. So not the way he wants to end his practice session. Jake Galloway does not improve. Here comes Kirishima DeRosa. No improvement for him, as Gabriel Gomez will get one more lap before the session comes to a close. Here comes Jamie Griffiths now then. He will just make his way towards the final corner, as he will now make his way onto the pit straight. And let's see what Jamie Griffiths can do. And no improvement for him. Here comes Chris Chatfield across the line. He will go in the AlphaTauri. No improvement for him. As Felix Sontag has finished off his session, he's just come back into the pits. Here comes Evan Byrne across the line. He will go in the Renault, stays where he is, which is P9. Miklos Gal across the line, stays on 1 minute 42.9. So we now look at Joseph Willows, who of course was the guy that Lopez just clipped the back of just there, as Willows will now cross the line. No improvement for him there. As meantime, Q-Puck is up on his personal best. Can he get himself back into the top 10 before the session comes to a close, as we have just under a minute left now in this session? Q-Puck now then rounds the final turn onto the pit straight. Now then will go the German, and David Q-Puck will now come across the line, and he goes up to 9th. He does indeed, so he gets himself back into the top 10 before the session comes to a close. Fraser doesn't improve. Here comes George Roke rounding the final turn himself now then in the Racing Point. Across the line he will now go. And can he improve? No, he can't. Stays where he is. Roberto Gamba will get one more lap before the session comes to a close. Amar Khan, meanwhile, is up on his personal best. Can he go quicker than Miklos Gal? Across the line goes Amar Khan, and yes, he can. Right at the death, Amar Khan goes fastest by 6/10 of a second at 1:42.274 for Amar Khan. Here comes Franco Gamba. Across the line he will go. He does not improve, stays in P5. Roland Motrin rounds the final turn now then in the Racing Point. Across the line he will now go. And no improvement for him. Amelia Wilson comes across the line. No improvement for her. Dudu Kirby crosses the line. He improves to go up to 15th. So 15th and 16th now for the two Ash drivers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Checkered flag is out, and that is the end of the session. Kirby was the last one to cross the line. Here comes Jake Galloway. No improvement, stays where he is. DeRosa stays where he is. Here comes Gabriel Gomez, who's up on his personal best. Gomez currently 19th. Can he go a little bit higher in the Alfa Romeo? Cross the line he will now go then. Where can Gomez end up on after this lap? And he goes up to 16th, gets in front of Fraser. So an improvement there for Gabriel Gomez. Griffiths will cross the line. No improvement. Chris Chatfield, cross the line he will go. No improvement for him. As now we look at Evan Byrne, who rounds the final turn, making his way onto the pit straight, and Byrne will now cross the line. No improvement for him. Gowden improved, got held up. Chung goes up to 4th, a big improvement for her, so she found some time towards the end there, so it seems the Ferraris may have been hiding something towards the end of the session. Willows does not improve. Here comes David Q-Puck, who's rounding the hotel section now then, as Q-Puck now then comes around the final 2 turns. I don't think he's going to improve, but we'll see anyway. Into the final corner and onto the pit straight will go David Q-Puck. as the German will now come across the line now then, and he does not improve, stays where he is. Daniel Fraser across the line, he will go in the Haas, and no improvement for him. George Roke rounds the final turn, heading down the pit straight, and across the line will go George Roke in the Racing Point, and he does not improve. As Roberto Garma now then will come across the line, and he goes up to 7th, so the Ferraris were hiding something. Amar Khan doesn't improve. Franco Gamba rounding the final turn himself. Let's see what the Italian can do, as he will now make his way onto the pit track. I don't think he's going to improve, but let's see. Across the line, no improvement. Roland Motrin rounds the final turn, and across the line he will now go then in the Racing Point, or the Tracing Point as some people have been calling it throughout the season. No improvement, stays where he is. Amelia Wilson goes up to 19th, so improvement. Kirby, the last one to cross the line, does not improve, stays in 15th. And there you have it. Amar Khan fastest, with Mikolas Gau in 2nd, and Joseph Wells in 3rd. So what do you make of that session overall, Min?
Well, yeah, I'm going to say it is going to be a very, very productive session for some of the drivers after the practice. And yep, let's just wait for qualifying then.
Indeed. Well, we're just going to take a brief pause for the moment, and then we'll come back with a fresh stream. But in the meantime, I've been JW97, he's been Min, and we'll see you in just a little bit for the qualifying session. See you in a bit.